Hi friends, we're here again. We wanted to do a podcast with one of our really close friends, somebody that we just love and adore. And she was in town doing a film and we wanted to bring her in and let you meet her. And we're just gonna ask her some questions and chat a little bit. And so we hope you really enjoy it.
Yes, hi, welcome. I'm Leanne and this is Fran, and we're of course from Pearls and Presence Ministries. We're so happy that you're here. And this is Allie Faulkner, my lifelong friend since sixth grade. So we've got her here in town with us. She just, like my mom said, just got done wrapping up a shoot. So we just thought we would talk to her a little bit about what it is like to be a believer in the industry, and just kind of discuss for everybody what it's like just to have integrity and set boundaries and be a woman of Christ in whatever area of influence that God has placed you in. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the project you were in town for?
Yes, it's my first time filming in the Atlanta area, so it was really great that I got to come down and of course get to see you guys, and thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. So this is a sequel. It's a romantic comedy. So the first film was called Stars Fell in Alabama. It's on Hulu now, and then this film is called Stars Fell Again. So it's a really fun romantic comedy. It's set around Christmas time, so really feel-good movie, and it explores some facet and aspect of love in multiple ways, so that's always fun. And it'll be out in November on streaming platforms like Amazon and then Hulu and things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. I have a spouse who loves holiday
You really do.
movies, so yeah. He's trying to get Allie to autograph everything. It's very strange, but it's fine. Anyway.
Well, Allie, do you find that it's difficult in this line of work to set boundaries for yourself in terms of what kind of roles you'll accept and what kind of roles you won't accept?
Yeah, that's a great question. Setting boundaries is something such a popular word that people are using right now, and I think we're all trying to figure out in our own lives and in our own lines of work, how do we set those boundaries and where do they fall on that spectrum, and are they too rigid in some areas, are they too soft in some areas, and how can we really, because some things are just not spelled out, right? There's creative opportunities that come to you, and it's not just, sometimes it doesn't seem so black and white. So but your question was how do I find it difficult? That was the question, right? Okay. I guess it depends on what you mean by difficult, and I guess some people would say I don't want to turn down work, I don't want to turn down opportunities, but I haven't found it difficult to. It just means that I have to say no probably more often, right, than some people would, and that that's kind of okay with me, but it does mean that I've had to turn down probably a decent amount of opportunities, but also does that answer the question, or is there more facets to that? Okay.
Well, I was wondering, when you do set a boundary, do people respect it once you get on set and when they want to do some little changes and things like that?
Yeah, it really depends on what situation you get yourself into. In this industry and in many industries, you can get yourself into some interesting situations, but I feel like overall, I feel like I've been given a lot of grace and been put in situations where I've been kept safe relatively. I also have been very clear about saying no to certain things, so I don't feel like it's had any negative repercussion like on set or anything like that, but does that answer the question? Yeah. Tell me again the last part of your question.
Do people respect?
Do people
the
respect
boundaries?
it? Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm really tired. I'm sorry. Do people respect the boundaries? I would say yeah. I would say yeah. I think that there's a lot of people that have had experiences where their boundaries probably haven't been respected. But thank God somehow what it is to me is relationships. Is being, and we all have to learn this. I've had to learn this. I've had to work through my own stuff to be able to create good relationships, but creating rapport with people, creating relationships with people, being open, being vulnerable, being honest, having clear communication, setting expectations up front, learning ways to be able to communicate effectively with people so that you can find a mutual respect and honesty and vulnerability that allows them to want to make it comfortable for you, and vice versa. So I've really had to learn how to, number one, just pray, please put the right relationships in my life, please help me to navigate them well, and please help us to, come together and make something really beautiful together. And when you find people with the similar desires, right, the similar desires to create something beautiful, to have a fun time together, to, similar values in that way, then it's easier for them to just naturally respect those boundaries because they're similar to you, you know. So I pray that that's the direction it keeps going.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you pick projects that are more family oriented and more of a not so edgy, and so because of that, the people that are involved in that are also wanting to keep it, you know, clean and comfortable for everybody on the set. Do you think that's true?
I think so. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, and not everything I do will probably be perfectly squeaky, you know,
Right,
like family, you know, although I love that and I want to keep going in that direction, I'm sure there will be other areas, but I do find that even in things that maybe have a bit more edge, which I do want to kind of, I have, you know, pretty clear boundaries about what I want, but what I don't want to do and what I want to do, but even if it starts to, you know, go with that line, I still think that you can create relationships and have, like, you know, kind of blessings and miraculous things, you know, for lack of better words, happen within, you know, those environments too. So sometimes it's just, you don't know how it's going to play out, but, like, you know, God works in his way, and I find that, you know, if you have clear understanding of what you want to do and what you don't want to do ahead of time, and then you just trust that he'll kind of work it out, you know. And I don't have all the answers, but that's my best answer for now. So yeah.
Yeah, when have you actually seen God maybe make a way for you in a situation that was difficult on a set, be it with production crew or cast, or maybe just an inner conflict you were having with the script or something like that? When have you seen God just provide a way when maybe there seemed like there was no way for the compromises you had made to actually be honored on set?
I feel like that's a really good question. I don't feel like I've had tons of experiences, you know, to be honest, where I've had to compromise that much. I will say ahead of time, like earlier in my career, I did do probably a couple films that I wouldn't do now. And so with that, somehow I think I was still protected because I made sure to set boundaries for myself even in those situations.
Yeah.
And so I didn't end up doing anything that I felt like terrible about.
So God kind of has given you wisdom from the earlier projects you've done now.
So yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Like, somehow I knew that I had that internal thing that even though I was young and probably making some questionable decisions, that even within that there was still probably some sort of grace guiding me and helping me pull me into the right direction, and helping me, you know on that internal guidance system when to say no. And so I would say that I do feel like God's always been with me even in the dark times.
Right. Well, you've always been a believer. Your family are believers, so that internal moral compass, even when you kind of try to make your own way and go your own way, it's just there. And so I think that probably is one source of the protection too, is that you really always know good from evil, even though you want to make some choices and you want some opportunities. I think a lot of that has to do with your background and just trusting that God is there, whether or not you're actively seeking something that he would approve of or whatever. You still hold back. Your boundaries are still different than people who are not believers and have not had God in their life to help protect them from making decisions that later on they might not be proud of.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I'm very grateful that even in dark times I could have made very questionable decisions that I would have regretted later. And I'm not saying that other people could have made those decisions and not regretted it later. I'm not but I know for myself that I'm glad that, like you said, that I was that I had that guidance and that protected me from having even deeper regrets. So yeah. So
did you ever have a role that you didn't take that you wish that you would have not regret that you didn't take it because of the reason, but that seemed like it would have been really a fun opportunity, except that it kind of crossed your boundaries? Have you ever had to make a sacrifice like that?
Well, I don't know if I would have found it fun or not, but I've definitely turned down a lot of roles that I knew I was like, I can't do this. I won't feel good about it, you know. So I've definitely sacrificed a lot of those things. Turned down auditions, I should really say. So I've turned down a lot of auditions when I just automatically, there's just things that are just easy no's, you know. When you know your boundaries, you kind of like, that's a no, that's a no, that's a no. It does get disheartening sometimes. And then sometimes, you know, there's things that are kind of like watery, and you're like, you just have to pray about it and be like, is this, you know, is this what you want for me? But I don't feel like, off the top of my head, I've had to turn down something that I felt would have been so fun, you know. Sometimes I auditioned for a role, got really close to making it and didn't get it, and I wondered if God just didn't want me to have it because it was like, it probably turned out to be a little bit something that wouldn't have been healthy for me to do.
Right.
You know, so, so yeah.
And you've also, through the years, because you've been a recording artist and in theater and acting, so you've kind of been in all of the different arts, and even through the years you've taken breaks, you know, you've had kind of your own like spiritual reset, so to speak, and I know you're just kind of just now coming out of one. So what do you think that God develops during those kind of off seasons for you? Like how do you know, how do you know when it's time for you to just step away from certain aspects of the industry and regain focus, and what do you think it is?
That's a great question. I feel like for everyone, you know, no matter what your line of work is, we're all trying to just do the best we can to make it. I mean, for me, you know, there's modern psychologist, he likes to talk about the human needs, and one of them is growth and or two of them are growth and contribution, where we have a need to grow and we have a need to contribute, to give something. And I think all of us on some level want to live a meaningful life, and we want to live in our purpose, and we want to give something that's meaningful, and we don't want to create something that is damaging the world or something like that, you know. So for me, I was, you know, went through a little bit of a, you know, a spiritual kind of, I don't know what you would say, just
wrestling.
kind of wrestling transformation, I guess, you know. Yeah, exactly. And just trying to find, like, you know, my footing again, and really feeling like what were my intentions and what was my motivation behind my work. And I think that that's something that no matter what job you're in, you can really look at, you know, is what is our motivation. I don't know that our motivations will ever just be completely selfless, because we're a human being. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like it's on a spectrum. Like, so here's, to get more specific, we could be doing it out of insecurity and wanting to prove ourselves and wanting to make a great career because that could feed our sense of self-worth. Or, you know, on the completely altruistic spectrum, you know, other side of the spectrum, it could be, we just want to do it because we want to make a difference in the world. But I think I'd be lying to say, yes, I want to make a difference in the world, absolutely, but that also feeds my soul. It also gives me a sense of like, inspiration and purpose. I love the work I get to do. I get to connect with people in really meaningful and beautiful ways. We get to be vulnerable. We get to process certain aspects of humanity together. I mean, we create incredible bonds. So of course it benefits me. So I'm kind of in that place where, to answer your question, is like, I wanted to find my footing of, am I doing this for the right reasons? And at the same time, not try to be so holy where it's like, it's still coming from that same place of fear. It's like, what is it that God wants to give, to help me, you know, the gifts he wants to give me in the process, and also at the same time help me give others, and just try to find that place of like, you know, just that place of beauty and love within my art, within my creativity, that I can experience for myself and give to others. And so for me, it was kind of like, I really questioned, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it for the right reasons? Eventually, you know, I felt like God kind of just put me back on the path and said, yes, you are supposed to be doing this, and you do love it, and it's okay to love it. Obviously, we don't want to make idols of what we do, right? But I do love it. And so I think it's an interesting journey, which I'm still on, of really solidifying and finding what is our purpose, right? And some people that's going to be being a mother, some people that's, you know, it's going to be multiple things. But I do feel a sense of purpose in what I do. I do feel a calling toward it, and I do feel like God has took that time away to develop me a little bit, to help me heal some things so that I could come back and be in a healthier place within it. That was a long
Good.
answer, hopefully.
That's good. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say, because those same types of issues with setting boundaries there's a lot of workplaces that women find themselves in, Christian women, where they have to set that. And it can be in environments with a lot of men. It can be in environments where people are asking you things to do that go against your grain as a believer. So what advice would you give to women that are in situations where they're very uncomfortable with the way their boundaries are being pushed? What would you say?
Well, that's a great question. I wouldn't know how to answer it for every specific situation. Hopefully they've got great HR things in place. I can't imagine being in a corporate environment and being stuck in that. I know for acting, you know what you're getting into ahead of time usually because you know the script, right? And so that could be, to widen that out, broaden that out a little bit, that could be, know the scope of what you're getting into as much as you possibly can. Then if you're put into a position, have protection. So like as an actor, you have an agent or a manager, right? And so I guess in the corporate world, that would be HR. Build relationships, have clear communication, know who your support system is in these situations, so that you have someone pulling for you and protecting you. And then I would also say, like I said, I kind of mentioned before, but clear communication and setting expectations up front so that you can prevent some of those situations. I also just think as a woman, we're human beings, it's like we're all human beings. You have to protect yourself and know yourself well enough not to be fearful, because in acting I create friendships with males all the time,
Right.
and I would say that life would be boring if I couldn't do that, to be honest, but to have, if you're married or, have a really solid communication with that, a solid bond there, and kind of know where your boundaries are with that, because obviously in acting and stuff you have to navigate those waters carefully. So hopefully that gives a little bit of clear communication, setting expectations up front, knowing who your relationships are that can protect you. And then for me, this is going to sound a little bit probably strange, but I've always felt like too with men, even though I'm like really open and loving and fun, I also sometimes will just put up a little bit of a I don't know how to explain that, but like where it's just like they can tell, especially if there's maybe a little bit of attraction there, even like, because I'm a human being, I can see if a man's attractive, right? And not like, blind. Or you feel an attraction. I'm just being honest. So
we'll pray for you.
Thank you. Put some holy water on me. But it's like you just have to be like, okay, no, kind of like I'm not going to have a meeting with him individually, for example.
Right.
I'm gonna meet with him in a group, right? A group setting, or if we are meeting individually, it's gonna be in like a place where I feel like comfortable and I don't feel like any boundaries could be crossed. So it's just about trying to be guided with that wisdom while also living a creative and fun life. And sometimes that's just not so black and white. But I do think God can give you like clear signals on yes or no, like up front, and then the other things that come at you spontaneously, you just have to trust that He'll guide you through it, and like have people you can call, because
it's fine. I won't play any of the voicemails you sent during the shoot. So I'm just kidding.
Well, that's great advice for really any situation, because most situations you're going to be in as male, female, and whether it's professional or soccer, game watching, whatever it is, and just to have that confidence that you're going to know, that the Holy Spirit's going to let you know when a situation's getting a little bit to where you're going to have to step up and put that invisible barrier that says, hey, don't get the wrong idea. I enjoy your company, I enjoy your friendship, but that's all that there is there. And I think that's hard for women. That's a very there's a lot of insecurity there. People don't want to feel like they're letting down their boundaries as a believer or a Christian woman when they have friendships or conversations with men, and it is friendly and it's lively. But you just have to have that confidence that God's going to tell you, okay, we need to step that back a little bit, or maybe this person's taking the interest a little too far, and when that happens, and God will let you know when that happens. So,
I think too, like, just if I may be so bold in faith and say that sometimes what's so attractive about us is God within us. You know, people are attracted to our joy, our peace, our life that we speak, just the way that we naturally change atmospheres and environments just by carrying the Holy Spirit. So I think I've found that too, where it's like you realize what it is that's drawing people in is actually Jesus and you. And like you guys said, that really happens everywhere and anywhere. And again, like, I think, and what it also attracts you to other people is that they're made in the image of God. And I'm not talking about physical or romantic, I'm just talking about being drawn in connection to people. And I just think it's really beautiful that no matter if you're in Hollywood or if you're at home, like there is a place and a space for you that God has created for you to influence, for you to set boundaries for your family, for your cast members. But that really your influence is going to be as far reaching as your faith. And so I think that's what's so encouraging about this whole topic is, you know, we're not all living Allie's life, you know, and you know, not many people are living my specific life and journey, but it's the same principles, you know, as a believer that we are called to be influencers. We are called to wherever He sends us. That is our mission field, and we arrive and we love people well. And like you said, sometimes those boundaries get tricky because there's so many people out there who they've never been loved well. They really don't know what that's like, and they're really drawn to that. You know, we're the light on the hilltop, as the Bible says. So it's not uncommon that people just get drawn into that. But I think He really does protect people in those situations. Which is
And I
awesome.
like what you said a moment ago. Remember when you guys were in the Page Parks modeling camp?
Look at her just trying to bring out our past like this.
Yeah. Well, I was telling somebody about it, and I was actually embarrassed because I just felt like here I am.
And so are we right now.
Here I am, you know, endorsing my daughter going off into a field where it's all about looks and that, you know, and I just really didn't feel comfortable about that. And I was talking to a woman minister. She said, well, you know, God needs Christians in all fields, every single field. And I thought, I was really thankful that she said that because it is true. Yeah. So I'm really glad, Allie, that you're in the entertainment business and that you run into a lot of people like you all the time that are Christian based. And it's just really good to know that we can be in all fields, representing Jesus and just loving on people and bringing that light out into the world. Yeah, so thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't resist. I just got a flashback of what your face looked like when they gave you your first eyebrow wax.
It was painful.
The first of many.
Yeah. We went to this modeling camp as kids, and we had to learn how to read scripts and commercials all week, and at the very end was like you got to go to the hair salon, and they whacked off all my hair, and I was like in tears, and then I saw Allie in the salon, and she had like 2 red strips. They had just waxed her eyebrows. It was actually very traumatic, so thanks for signing us out.
Yeah. You big.
Yeah. It's fine.
Oh, gosh. Well, thanks for being with us today. We just wanted to have some fun with our friend Allie, and we really wish you a lot of luck with the film.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking forward to seeing it. What you said, November?
Yeah, it comes out in November, and it'll be on streaming platforms and all that good stuff.
And Stars.
Yeah, it's called Stars Fell Again.
Stars Fell Again. Okay.
Yeah,
I
fun
had
rom-com.
2 words of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. Well, we'll see you guys next time, and until then, just be blessed and know that we love you.